Now, this is the top 3 black fatigue behaviors, and everything on this list is something that I have found myself being guilty of, so no judgment. The number 1 is a lack of accountability. This could be something as small as getting written up at work for actually being late or actually having a poor attitude, all the way up to people who lose their lives in altercations with the police. It's very rare that you hear a black person say, hey, my bad, I was wrong. I should not have done that. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always white supremacy. It's always systemic racism. It's always poverty. It's always slavery, Jim Crow, this, that, and the third. It's very rare that you hear a black person actually take accountability for their own actions and whatever causes come out of that. And the number 2 thing is related to the first one, and it's argumentativeness. I have this really bad. Black people tend to be highly sensitive. It's very difficult to criticize or correct or give feedback to a black person or even call them out when they are obviously wrong without it becoming an argument. I heard Charleston White say black people don't have conflict resolution skills, and for the most part, I agree with him. It could be the smallest thing, like a parking spot or just something so small and trivial. Black people will argue with you way before they are likely to step down or step back and say, oh, hey, my bad, and have just the self-awareness to be like, you know what, actually, you're right, I'm wrong. And the third one is related to the previous 2, and that's going to be a propensity to physical violence. And like I said, this is something I've also found myself doing in my immature and younger years. Black people, because we don't like to back down, we're never wrong. We can't take criticism. We can't take correction in general. It's more likely any type of altercation or disagreement between or involving a black person is way more likely to come to blows. Physical violence, destruction of property, even bang, bang, bang. And, I'm not making this up. You can look at the headlines of any, news channel, any major city, you know what I'm talking about. The most trivial disagreements end up in people losing their lives over silly things that no other group of people really gets into, at least not to the extent that we do. I'm not saying anybody else is perfect, but nobody gets into it to the extent that we do, in my opinion, growing up and living in black communities my entire childhood. So I want to finish this video by saying that people are not their behaviors. You could always learn new behaviors, and that's why I think the conversation of black fatigue is actually good for black people, because like I said, we're so difficult to correct. A lot of times people will just observe the behavior and just end up not dealing with you. They'll never really correct you to your face. But the conversation about black fatigue is a great way for us to, as a community and individually, develop some self-awareness and see how we look to other people from the outside, and maybe, get called in to better behavior and more socially acceptable behaviors within the larger society. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think in the comment box below.